Hello, hello. We're back again with more of our book, James and the Giant Peach. And some of these chapters are actually very short. In fact, chapter 4 is really short. We'll get through that one really quickly. So we're going to go through chapters 4, 5, and 6 today. Ready? All right, here we go. James Henry Trotter stood there clutching the bag and staring at the old man. And now, the old man said, all you've got to do is this. Take a large jug of water and pour all the little green things into it. Then very slowly, one by one, add 10 hairs from your own head. That sets them off. It gets them going. In a couple of minutes, the water will begin to froth and bubble furiously. And soon as that happens, you must quickly drink it all down, the whole jug, in one gulp. Then, my dear, you will feel it churning and boiling in your stomach, and steam will start coming out of your mouth. And immediately after that, marvelous things will start to happen to you. Fabulous, unbelievable things. And you will never be miserable again in your life, because you are miserable, aren't you? You needn't tell me. I know all about it. Now off you go and do exactly as I say, and don't whisper a word whisper a word of this to those two horrible aunts of yours. Not a word. And don't let the green things in there get away from you either, because if they do escape, they will be working their magic upon somebody else instead of upon you. And whatever it is, and that isn't what you want at all, is it, my dear? Whoever they meet first, be it a bug, an insect, an animal, or tree, that will be the one who gets the full power of their magic. So hold the bag tight. Don't tear the paper. Off you go. Hurry up. Don't wait. Now's the time. Hurry. With that, the old man turned away and disappeared into the bushes. Okay, we're on chapter 5. Told you that was a really quick chapter. The next moment, James was running back towards the house as fast as he could go. He would do it all in the kitchen, he told himself. If only he could get in there without Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker seeing him. He was terribly excited. He flew through the long grass and the stinging nettles. Oh, I have those in my backyard. Those things are terrible. I hate them. I hate them. Not caring whether he got stung or not on his bare knees. And in the distance, he could see Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker sitting in their chairs with their backs towards him. He swerved away from them so as to go around to the other side of the house. But then suddenly, just as he was passing underneath the old peach tree, stood in the middle of the garden. His foot slipped and he fell flat on his face on the grass. The paper bag burst open as it hit the ground, and the thousands of tiny green things were scattered in all directions. James immediately picked himself up into his hands and knees and started scratching around for his precious treasures. But what was this? They were all sinking into the soil. He could actually see them wiggling and twisting as they burrowed their way downward into the hard earth. And at once he reached out a hand to pick up some before it was too late, but they disappeared right under his fingers. He went after some others, and the same thing happened. He began scrambling around frantically in an effort to catch hold of those that were left, but they were too quick for him. Each time the tips of his fingers were just about to touch them, they vanished into the earth. And soon, in the space of only a few seconds, every single one of them had gone. James felt like crying. He would never get them back now, and they were lost forever. But where had they gone? And why in the world had they been so eager to push down into the soil like that? What were they after? There was nothing down there except the roots of an old peach tree and a whole lot of earthworms and centipedes and insects living in the soil. But what was it that the old man said? Whoever they meet first, be it bug, insect, animal, or tree, that will be the one who gets the full power of their magic. Good heavens, thought James. What's going to happen in that case if they do meet an earthworm or a centipede or a spider? And what if they do get into the roots of that peach tree? Get up here at once, you lazy beast, a voice was suddenly shouting in James's ear. James glanced up and saw Aunt Spiker standing over him, grim and tall and bony, glaring at him through her steel-rimmed spectacles. Get back over here immediately and finish chopping up those logs, she ordered. Aunt Sponge, fat and plumpy as a jellyfish, came waddling up behind her sister to see what was going on. Why don't we just lower the boy down in the well in a bucket and leave him there for the night, she suggested. That ought to teach him to laze around in this whole day long. It's a very good wheeze, my Aunt Sponge. But let's make him finish chopping up the wood first. Be off with you at once, you hideous brat, and do some work. Slowly, sadly, poor James got off of the ground and went back to the wood pile. Oh, if only he hadn't slipped and fallen and dropped that precious bag. All hope of a happier life was now completely gone. Today and tomorrow and the next day and all the other days as well would be nothing but punishment and pain, unhappiness and despair. He picked up his chopper and was about to start chopping again when he heard the shout behind him that made him stop and turn. Okay, so why don't we just pause there, because that was the end of chapter 5. We're going to do chapter 6, but they heard a shout. So why don't you make a prediction? Maybe even pause this video and just make a prediction as to what you think is going to happen next. Okay? Got it? Okay, let's see if you were right. Chapter 6. Sponge, come here at once and look at this. At what? It's a peach, Aunt Spiker was shouting. A what? A peach right up there on the highest branch. Can't you see it? I think you must be mistaken, dear Spiker. That miserable tree never had any peaches on it. There's one on it now, Sponge. Look for yourself. You're teasing me, Spiker. You're making my mouth water on purpose when there's nothing to put in it. Why, that tree will never even produce a blossom on it, yet alone a peach. Right up on the highest branch, you say? I can't see a thing. Very funny. Ha ha. Goodness gracious me. Well, I'll be blowed. There really is a peach up there. A nice big one, too, Aunt Spiker said. A beauty, Aunt Sponge cried out. At this point, James slowly put down his chopper and turned and looked across the two women who were standing underneath the peach tree. Something is about to happen, he told himself. Something peculiar is about to happen any moment. He hadn't the faintest idea what it might be. He could feel it in his bones that something was going to happen soon. He could feel it in the air around him, and in the sudden stillness that had fallen upon the garden. James tiptoed a little closer to the tree. The ants were not talking now. They were just standing there, staring at the peach. There was not a sound anywhere, not even a breath of wind, and overhead the sun blazed down upon them out of the deep blue sky. It looks ripe to me, Aunt Spiker said, breaking the silence. Then why don't we eat it? Aunt Sponge suggested, licking her thick lips. We can each have half. Hey, you, James, come over here and climb that tree. James came running over. I want you to pick that peach up there on the highest branch, Aunt Sponge went on. Can you see it? Yes, Aunt Spongy, I can see it. And don't you dare take any of it yourself. Your Aunt Spiker and I are going to have it between us right here and now. Half each. Get on with you. Go up. You go up. James crossed over to the tree trunk. Stop, Aunt Spiker said quickly. Hold everything. She was staring up into the branches with her mouth wide open and her eyes bulging as she looked and as though she had seen a ghost. Look, she said. Look, Sponge, look. What's the matter with you? Aunt Sponge demanded. It's growing, Aunt Spiker cried. It's getting bigger and bigger. What is? The peach, of course. You're joking. Well, look for yourself. But dear Aunt Spiker, it's perfectly ridiculous. That's impossible. That's Now wait just a minute. No, that can't be right. No. Yes, great. Scott, it really is growing. It's nearly twice as big already, Aunt Spiker shouted. It can't be true. It is true. It must be a miracle. Watch it, watch it. I am watching it. Great heavens alive, Aunt Spiker yelled. I can actually see the thing is bulging and swelling right before my eyes. Now, that would be pretty good. I don't know about you guys, but I love peaches. I love peach pie. I love peach cobbler. I love just a good peach just right off the tree. And so somewhere maybe through this book, maybe midway through the book, or maybe we'll wait until the end of the book, I'm going to have a little challenge. But in the meantime, one of the things that you can start doing is start looking. Okay, don't do anything with this yet, but start looking for an awesome recipe that involves peaches. And I'll tell you more about what we're going to do with that later. All right, well, that is it for today. Tomorrow we will read chapters 7, 8, and 9. Don't forget, make sure you guys are working on your packets little by little with this. That's these right here. And you can color the front if you want. I know you guys like to do that, and that would be perfect. And you can see all the little creatures that we might get to meet here later on. Okay, I hope all is well. I hope you're enjoying the story so far. And tomorrow we will have another few chapters to read. Have a great day.